loan bailout. In 2013, the Pacific Research Institute cited a debt for the 73 tollway of $136 million per mile, compared to a U.S. average of $17 million per mile. In 2015, the OC grand jury determined that the TCA is carrying a debt level that threatens the agency's solvency and called its debt excessive based on its revenue levels. Last week, the federal government announced it will audit California's high-speed rail project. Since the federal government is a stakeholder in the TCA, will you support a similar audit or federal oversight of the TCA's fiscal and business practices? Why or why not? And I believe that we are at Mr. Applegate again.
An audit? Boy, that would be New Orange County, right? Yeah, we've been through this before. We've been through it before, and the fact that the TCA has the discretion to do what it's been doing with the money is felony stupid. But here's the reality. Congress is not going to do that. That's going to be a function of the DOJ as far as an audit if they're going to do it. And in the last time, the federal government didn't get involved when, the county of Orange declared bankruptcy. That was only the third county that's ever filed bankruptcy in the history of the United States. We need to focus on what the federal government can do and what local government has to do. And in this particular case, you don't want people coming in and auditing state and local government from the federal level. It's just not efficient. That's my position.
Well, the TCA, as I've just been looking at it, actually I come to the conclusion it's corrupt. It needs to have an audit. You need to look at it. But I do agree it's going to be, it's one of these areas you say, well, what does a congressman actually do? You know, as a congressman, you could call the state senator, state assembly member in a room and say, we're going to work together. And they understand that because you're the congressman. And then you say, how can we leverage our position at the federal level with the state level to accomplish what we want? To ensure that we hold them accountable for the expenditure of the funds. You know, I've done that a number of times. In fact, I'm doing it right now down in San Diego for an area with a lagoon. A congressman is a leader who understands how the systems work and how to get something accomplished.
So the speed rail and the toll road are two very, very different projects. If you remember, we agreed as an electorate in California to take that $8 or $9 billion and plant the seeds for the speed rail. The problem is it has not attracted private dollars, which tells you it's probably a bad project. The toll road sold out the bonds again, sold out the bonds the third time. The bailout was a line that was largely not used. But I will say this. The last few months I've been on the Operations Committee, the Long-Term Strategy Committee, the TCA, and I don't like what I see. I see seeds being planted for long-time empire building rather than shutting down a road once it's paid for and built. We're going to need private dollars to do major regional transportation projects, be they rail, be they for cars, electric cars, whatever the case may be, because the federal government has not spent more in 20 years, any year over year as a percentage of GDP on transportation projects, and that's not going to change. So we have to be efficient. I will welcome whatever scrutiny we put the TCA under as to their finances.
I would support a TCA audit. I also think that you're going to have to decide whether you want a member of Congress who's just going to show up and vote or who's going to lead. My background is as a political organizer and as a coalition builder, and I've been involved at the state and federal level in actually getting environmental and clean energy legislation passed with bipartisan support. That's why I've received support from 8 members of Congress and 5 members of the state assembly and other state senators, as well as a whole host of local elected officials, because they know whether it's a TCA audit or San Onofre or any of the other issues that we're speaking about tonight, I will be a true partner of Dana Point, a true partner of San Juan Capistrano, San Clemente, and the other 7 cities in this district. Now, as far as the TCA goes, if the TCA didn't exist today, there isn't a single person in this room who would call for its creation. The lawyers, the lobbyists, the influence peddlers, they have taken over the TCA. We need to put a stop to it once and for all. We need to make sure they don't spend another of our dollars on a project that has failed.